I'm Rus Willis. I've been a resident of Sanders County for 35 years now, and for 32 of those years I was a licensed Montana outfitter operating on the Cabinet Ranger District. And I'd like to share a story with you today. Back in the 80s, 85, the very same day that Bill Hill had a run-in with a couple of his clients with a grizzly bear, and they ended up defending themselves and killing the bear. The very same day, I had an encounter with a grizzly about 40 miles from where Bill was on the Cabinet District, and I was bugling elk. I had hunters with me, and the evening before, this particular drainage had quite a few bulls in there calling. We could hear them that evening, so I had some tree stands in the area. The next morning I went in with the hunters, and I had 3 of them, and I put the hunters in the tree stands, and I started bugling, and I didn't get any answers from the bulls, which I thought was very odd. And I'm thinking, well, something's wrong. Something has run these elk out of here last night. So I side-hilled around a ways, and I started calling into the next drainage and the next drainage, and I didn't get any answers. And I'm thinking, something's wrong. Something has happened here. And then the trail, the game trail that I'm standing on, I look across the drainage from me about 100 yards away. I called one more time, and I hear something in the rocks, and I look about the same elevation I'm at, and here comes a sow grizzly with 2 yearling cubs. And I thought, okay, that's what's going on. The grizzlies have been in here hunting these elk, and now she's hunting me. And I had a rifle with me, so I shot in front of her in the rock slide. And she stopped. The cubs ran up the hill a little ways, and they looked at her, and then she just kept coming. I shot in front of her again, and this time she just sped her pace up, and the cubs were right with her. And I thought, well, this is not working. So I turned around and I ran back to the first hunter I had in a tree stand, and I told him, get out of that tree. We're leaving the area right now. And he says, what's the matter? And I told him there's a sow grizzly headed this way, and she's going to be here in about 1 minute, and I don't want to mix it up with her. Got him out of the tree. I went and got the other hunters out of the tree, and we left that area, and we never went back the rest of the archery season. I found out probably a week later that on the very same day, Bill was doing the same thing I was doing. He was bugling elk, had clients with him, only the bear he dealt with had its jaw broke in a trap and was injured, couldn't eat, and the bear charged him. If it hadn't been for quick thinking on Bill's part, I don't think somebody would have got seriously hurt or killed. But ever since then, in Sanders County, we called that the Day of the Grizzlies.
Sounds like you guys weren't the only ones encountering them that day, ironically. Was there any fallout for you taking a shot at the grizzly? Were you chastised for it by the Forest Service?
I never told him about it. I've never mentioned that to hardly anybody up until today.
Is there a reason why you wouldn't?
Because I did not want to be persecuted, or them saying that I was shooting at a grizzly. What I was doing was try to turn that bear around and get her away from that area where my hunters were. She didn't even, I don't think she knew what a gunshot was. Because otherwise, most animals will turn and run when they hear a shot. She didn't. She got even more aggressive, it seemed like. And she had her mind made up. She was hunting elk, and I was the elk.
Do you know if that was a collared bear?
It was not. I got a real good look at her.
Good. So, is there anything else you'd like to add there towards the end? Are you still an outfitter?
No, I'm not an outfitter anymore, but my son-in-law, he guides for an outfitter, and they guide a lot of spring bear hunts. This year, in one drainage alone, he saw 6 different grizzlies in one day. It was 2 sows with cubs, twin cubs. And so their population, and I talk with a lot of the guys that do the guiding on the spring bear anymore. It's very, very common for them to be running into grizzly bears anymore. And it's got to actually be a problem.
So do you, as a outdoorsman and a lifetime member up here, or a lifetime resident up here in Sanders County, do you see the bears as being truly endangered or just being studied?
I don't think they're really endangered anymore from the information that I get talking to the guides that are actually out in the field every day. They're seeing a lot more grizzlies than they used to. It's become a problem in some situations, and I think it's just a matter of time and something bad is going to happen, because these bears aren't hunted, so they don't have fear of humans, and that's where the problem starts.